Call the meeting to order.
Miller,
Present.
Williams,
Yes.
Lesh,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Fox.
Next on the agenda this evening, we have a presentation from NECA, Carla Potts, Deputy Director for Housing Development.
Your Honor,
Welcome.
I will introduce
Sure.
Carla. Carla is with the Northeast Community Action Council. They have they own property in town at 600 block of Mars, and they have a housing project that they're looking at doing, and she would like to inform us a little bit about what they're doing, and there's a grant involved, and so they would need some support, so.
We do. Thank you very much, Bruce. As Bruce said, we own Berkshire Estates. It used to be Eastwood Apartments on 601 Mars, and we have 11 units there currently with an office, so we have 12 units. We are proposing to submit a grant to the Missouri Housing Development Commission, and the grant is due September 5th. And Bruce has passed out to you our site plan and our proposal. Our proposal is to build 18 new two-bedroom senior disabled units, and then the existing 11 units, we would totally gut rehab those, and they would be senior disabled apartments. And 5 of the one-bedroom units would be reserved for senior homeless veterans. And again, senior is the key word. We're working with Welcome Home, which is a group out of Columbia that work with veterans, as well as the Community Action Agency in Columbia, Missouri, because we're not the Community Action Agency for Mexico, we're just your neighbor. We're working with them to provide some housing assistance and some supportive services for the residents of the units that we're proposing. We think the senior is a great fit. We are adjacent to the VA home, and we think the senior is such a great fit. You know, if someone has a loved one in the VA home and would love to get closer to them, there's some really nice senior apartments that'll go right in there. Senior apartments will have all appliances, and they'll have washers and dryers, and they'll be really nice. We build really nice things. The decision on the project will be made in December, and we, of course, like Bruce said, are looking for support from the city if you feel that that's something you can do. So we appreciate already the support that Bruce and Rita have given us, and really thank you for all the work they've done with us to, you know, help us along the path of bringing some new senior housing to Mexico. And that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you, and I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Carla, when you talk support, that's just, we want to be clear because we're talking about support from a letter of supporting the project. It's not necessarily a financial issue.
It is not financial at all.
Yeah.
We don't want any money. You won't hear that very many times.
Finally.
Where
have you been?
That has to be a first, right? We don't want money. You know, people say we're from the government. We're here to help you. We don't want money, but we do need letters of support from the mayor, from the council, of course, from Rita and Bruce. So we would really appreciate those letters because they go a long way. This is a highly competitive process, and we want to bring the projects back to Northeast Missouri, and in this case, Mexico. So the letters go a long way, and I told Bruce they have public hearings. Once all the applications go in, they have public hearings, and we will let you know when that public hearing is, and it's usually in Columbia. And anybody that can go and just, you know, say a good word about this project and how much it's needed. And we think the homeless, the senior homeless veterans, there's such a need for veterans who don't have homes or are homeless, and what a sad thing that is. And when I talked to Welcome Home last week, they had a 78-year-old veteran who had been homeless and said, boy, they wish this was here so they could have had a place for him. Any questions? Yes.
So you're looking for a letter with all of our signatures on it, or individual letters from each?
Individual letters are really better.
Okay.
One from the mayor and all of you councilmen would be great.
Okay.
They really are better than like a letter with everyone's name. And any kind of resolution that council would do too would be nice too.
Okay. So are we, you going to prepare that for
We will
us?
prepare those, yeah.
Okay.
If you're agreeable to do those, we'll prepare them and have them for you.
Sounds like they were agreeable. I have one question. What do these rent for, these rental units?
Well, currently, the one-bedroom rents for $355, and we're
$355?
proposing the two bedrooms at $395.
$395, okay. Pretty reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very reasonable, yes.
On the amount of land you all own and put these units on there, how much more will you be able to, in future days, we have a lot more land left?
We'd have a little bit of land left. I don't know, we might be able to get maybe another smaller project on there. But the way these aren't going to be like two-story, they're gonna be more spread out, so it will take up
That's
more
what-
land.
That's what I'm wondering, okay.
Yeah, where the old Eastwood apartments were, multiple stories, so.
Okay.
But we think for seniors, it's nicer to have them all on ground level and not have to do elevators and all of that.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, was there
Thank
another
you.
question? No, thank you so much.
Thank you all very
Yeah.
much, thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing to rezone property located on the west side of Huntingfield Drive from R1 Single Family Dwelling to C2.
Excuse me,
We got to go back to minutes.
Chairman, we need to approve the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
I'm going to abstain since I was absent.
Nichols,
Yes.
Okay, next we have a public hearing to rezone property located on the west side of Huntingfield Drive from R1 Single Family Dwellings to C2 General Commercial. I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a request from the Audrain Ambulance District to rezone the property that they have purchased this location. And to cover the public hearing, I will turn to Rita Jackson.
This public hearing concerns a request from the Audrain Ambulance District to rezone their property located on the west side of Huntingfield Drive between Jefferson Road and Green Boulevard from R1 Single Family Dwellings to C2 General Commercial, as you can see on the attached map there highlighted in yellow. Currently, this property is for sale. The Audrain Ambulance District has indicated by rezoning the property to C2 General Commercial, it would help the sale by allowing more options to the buyer for development. Prior to the Planning and Zoning meeting, notices were sent to 30 surrounding property owners within 185 feet of the requested rezoning. City staff received 2 phone calls and 2 office visits regarding the requested rezoning. All 4 communications were in opposition of the requested rezoning. Thing here that won't move. Sorry, map's not moving. In the Planning and Zoning report to the Planning and Zoning Commission, city staff did not recommend approval of this rezoning request based on the following. The requested rezoning is not in compliance with the city's land use map. It's not in compliance with the draft comprehensive plan update, and the requested rezoning would create spot zoning. At the July 11th Planning and Zoning meeting, the Commission made a motion not to recommend approval of this rezoning to City Council, and the minutes of that meeting were attached. Per Section 11-1, Planning and Zoning Commission of the Mexico City Code, D, recommendations to council, authority of City Council to approve or disapprove, reads as follows. The recommendations of the City Planning and Zoning Commission shall not be binding on the City Council, which may approve or disapprove the commission's findings. City staff did receive an additional communication regarding this request. I may read it for you. I am opposed to the rezoning of the property located on the corner of Huntingfield and Boulevard because I feel it could be detrimental to residential property values in the area. I recognize the reason is to create a broader market for the property, but we would allow the rezoning of the property we did allow the rezoning of the property northwest of this tract on Boulevard quite a long time ago, and it has not helped the sale because the property hasn't sold. Also, there are plenty of currently available commercial development tracts. This was submitted by Dan Botts, and Mr. Botts is one of the property owners within 185 feet of this request. Staff recommends the council proceed with this advertised public hearing. Upon closing the public hearing, City Council needs to direct staff to prepare an ordinance to make the requested rezoning change or to prepare a resolution upholding the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation.
How long ago was the property changed up on the boulevard?
I'm going to say approximately a year ago.
Yeah. And what is the old Greens property?
Across the street on,
Right.
it's I-1 zoning.
Okay.
Industrial development.
How many objections did you say you got?
We actually received
Four?
4 prior to that planning and zoning meeting and 1 today.
One today, so 5.
5.
And those objections were all within 180 feet?
And those were property owners within 185 feet.
Okay,
Most of them were on Ozark Place and Rock Springs.
okay. In the new comprehensive plan is, what was the recommendation for that parcel?
R1 residential.
It's residential, okay.
It'd be listed as residential, low to medium density.
Okay. So if we overruled the planning and zoning, we would be spot zoning then, and I guess that would be illegal, right?
That's the way we would interpret it.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
Somebody here wants to speak.
yeah. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment from the public? Step right up and give your name and address.
Who is it?
Susan?
Never said that.
Okay, I've already broke it, so it'll be okay.
I think we have one.
3 minutes, Reverend Marty.
My name is Robert H. Marty. I live at 329 South Jefferson Road. And I'd like to comment a minute on the senior development that's next to the Missouri Veterans Home. I've called here for 20 years on different people.
Mr. Marty, I think you can only comment on the public hearing at the moment. Would you like to
I don't know if I asked you.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. We need to comment
Oh, all
on
right.
what we're talking about.
Well, I wanted to tell you that Councilman Williams pointed out that the #1 presenters always had miniskirts on. And I don't have mine. Mine is in dry cleaner. But Chief Miller said he was very glad it was in the dry cleaners. I want to talk about the rezoning, not for or against it. I want to point out that you know publicly that there are 2 sanitary sewers that run underneath that property, 2 sewers. And that if anybody were to develop there and the sewers were in the way, it would be responsible of the contractor, not the City of Mexico, to change the sewers. I just want to make sure that point is out in public. That's all I have to say. How much of the 3 minutes have I got left here? Can I? Thank you very much.
Thank
Or are
you.
there any questions? You made that mistake once before, didn't you, Ron?
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, excuse me.
Hi, my name's Kevin Cash. I'm the administrator of the ambulance service. And just like you said, we just really wanted to rezone it for the help of the sale of the property. And like Bob said, there is a sewer that runs at an angle from the southwest to the southeast to the northwest on there, and it's not in great shape. The city knows. And but that's not the issue of it all, is the sewer, because if it does go bad, it's, where the responsibility falls. So we'd just definitely like a chance to be able to have it so we can sell it, a better chance of selling it. The district, I will say, is at fault partially for buying it in the first place and not doing their background checks on the property. I say the city is somewhat at fault for letting it be sold, knowing the sewer was the way it was, and that's the reason we didn't build there in the first place, because the sewer would not handle the property that way. So that's really all I have. I mean, we want to try to sell the property to get some of the public's money back, and that'd be about the only way we could do it. If we do go to a commercial zone, and I know C2 will allow numerous big facilities, and their recommendation was, to wait and see if we do have a buyer, and once we get a buyer, then bring it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission and see what they could do possibly then once they have a buyer. But to me, that doesn't make sense. I mean, that's going to put a buyer off approximately at least minimum of 2 months by the time it goes through them, comes back through you all. So we'd just like to see it be rezoned, and we have nobody looking at it for any special reasons right now, none at all. So we can't say that, there's going to be something go up there. In my mind, it was mainly, I was thinking of it, I brought the issue up to the board because of possibly putting storage sheds in that area. There's no sewer, no water, nothing involved with those. So that would be an idea. And I even talked to him the other night about, and I don't believe it's legal, and I've got to check into it yet, but as the district, if we would be able to do something with that property to be able to make money off of it, and I haven't got all the way back with the lawyer on that yet to see where we stand on that. But we definitely would like to get it rezoned, just to help with the sale of the property, get some of our money back, the public's money in the first place. So, and it's just, otherwise it's going to sit there. We're not going to sell to any residential houses. I don't see that ever happening. Everybody in Mexico knows about the land. I mean, they laughed at us once they found out it was bought. Really, it was laughed at. So, and not good, but so that's really all I had to say. Is we'd like to get it rezoned, and I know they put their recommendation in, and I understand their recommendation. So, just
Now, I'd like to say something. I don't want to lose my job either.
yeah.
Okay, zoning that would be a spot zoning, which is against the law, correct?
Mhm.
So why did the Planning and Zoning Commission tell him to go ahead and get a buyer and then come back to have us rezone it?
I'm not sure what was said there, but I think what they were looking at, and Rita can maybe correct this, and I don't know whether they have any commission members here. I think they were looking at, depending upon the use, may change how you would ask for the zoning and look at a zoning, because when you zone something as a commercial zoning, before any type of use whatsoever, I mean, it's wide open for all those uses.
Okay.
And I think they were looking at it that if there was some portion of it that could be zoned at a different level, or looked at as a residential business zoning or something, that could potentially work. Now, I don't mean to put words in their mouth, so Rita, maybe if you could answer how you perceive that meeting and what they were.
Basically, that was the same way, because they had the list of what was allowed in a C2 zoning, and so we could open it up to any of those items, and they had no clue which direction they wanted, what you wanted to rezone it for.
I was just wondering about the spot zoning part versus be illegal now versus maybe illegal later. That's what I was wondering about.
I think they were looking at that, depending on the business, it could have been an R3 business zone or something,
Okay.
which would have been more appropriate than just a wide open
C2,
commercial.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Can I use the rest of my 3 minutes?
Real short.
Those short jokes, I can't help it. I have to disagree with Mr. Cash. I see no responsibility of the city. When they bought the land, they should have checked it. It isn't the city's responsibility to run red flags. It's the person who buys the property, the real estate agent, and so forth, to check it. I don't see any responsibility of the city for having a dog property. Thank you.
Thank you.
That doesn't mean I don't love Mr. Cash, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Cardy.
Howdy, Frank Cordy, 320 Jefferson Road, Mexico. I'm just outside the 185 feet, apparently. I'm like right next to Bots, so. But in just my thinking in terms of the whole thing, we're in a strong residential area here, and I think anything that would take it away from being a residential area should not be looked upon favorably.
Appreciate your comments. Chris, do you want to say something?
I'm going to move that we uphold the decision by the
Well,
Planning and Zoning.
this is a public hearing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just move to close the public.
Yeah, we're going to, we moved to close the public hearing.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Flood,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is a resolution, bill number 2014-45, resolution authorizing city manager to sign a waiver of right of first refusal pertaining to property owned by Superior of Missouri. This is up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Okay, Your Honor. What we have here is originally the city of Mexico sold 7.68 acres to Superior of Missouri back in 1998. The property is located adjacent to the city landfill. The buyer did grant the city a first right of refusal in the event that Superior of Missouri wished to sell that property. The city has been contacted by representatives of Superior, Missouri to ask if we wish to exercise our right. When that was first sold, it was sold as a transfer station, and there was equipment that went with it. And I think the idea of the first right of refusal at that time was that if they ceased operating and we still had an operating landfill, that we would need that property. Obviously, all of those circumstances have changed since that has happened. Therefore, we currently do not have any interest in purchasing the property. We do own property on both sides of it, and it's currently the landfill that's in post-closure at this point. Therefore, we would need to take an action as far as waiving our right on the first right of refusal to be signed declining the option to purchase, and so therefore, we'd recommend at this time proceed with the reading and passage of the attached resolution authorizing city manager to sign the waiver of first right of refusal.
I'm guessing they have somebody lined up to buy it if we...
I think their intent, as I understood, was they were just going to sell it by auction.
I don't think the city needs any more land.
I'm wondering if we can do that, or if we have to take it back because of the landfill there.
We do not.
We do not have to? Good.
Okay, I will move for reading of bill number 2014-45.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Bill number 2014-45, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a waiver of right of first refusal pertaining to property owned by Superior of Missouri. Whereas the City of Mexico sold Superior of Missouri Incorporated property located adjacent to its city landfill and maintained a right of first refusal on the property, and whereas the City of Mexico has been notified that Superior of Missouri Incorporated is wanting to sell the property and is offering the property to the city for purchase per the right of first refusal, and whereas the City of Mexico is not interested in purchasing the property from Superior of Missouri Incorporated and needs to sign a waiver of right of first refusal. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the city manager is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of right of first refusal for property owned by Superior of Missouri Incorporated. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2014-45.
Second.
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance, Bill number 2014-46, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. This is up for 2 readings by title only. That's supposed to say "and" passage, I guess. Bruce?
Yes, Sean. This is in accordance with provisions, Senate Bill 262, which each political subdivision with an annual operating budget in excess of $1 million must file personal financial interest statements or devices as a code of ethics. This ordinance establishes a procedure for disclosure by certain public officials and employees of private financial and other interest in matters affecting the city. Those members would be certainly the mayor, the city council, the city manager, and the chief purchasing officer. This is required by law. Therefore, the staff would recommend that the council proceed with the 2 readings by title and passage of the attached ordinance, and the ordinance has been posted the required length of time.
Do we get those by email now? Is that how we have to sign those every year? When, do we get them by email? Is that right?
I do. Them in the mail.
Oh, in the mail, okay.
And then you get a notice in the mail and then you'll file online.
Okay. Okay, I thought I remembered doing that last year. I hope I did.
Oh, Marcia will let you know. Don't worry.
She keeps
You
track
start
of them to
getting
make sure.
close.
Yeah.
She keeps on top of us.
Move for first reading of Bill number 2014-46 by title only.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes. It goes that way.
I just did.
Bill number 2014-46, ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal offices, officials. I move for second reading of bill number 2014-46.
Second.
By title only.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes. Bill number 2014-46, ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. I move for passage of bill number 2014-46.
Second.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Next, under other business, we have the claims.
Make a motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Miller?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Lush?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Next, we have council comments. Councilman Williams.
First, I'm going to say I had the opportunity to go help the help center, go out there with the help center. I didn't even know they had a little plots with farms, little farm plots that they've given to certain communities or certain groups and individuals in the community to help them out. It was really cool to see that, and growing food for our own community, for the people in need, and for the help center. So that was pretty cool. And second, I would like to say I like to see when people get involved in our council, because so many times there's nobody here. So to see a bunch of people here representing a side is a good thing. And I thought about that with the people responding to the mailed ordinances, usually, or mailed notices. Usually we don't get anybody. So people are taking the time to get involved in the community, and that's always a good thing. So that's all I got.
Councilman Nichols.
Chief, I'd like to thank you for your officers the other night. Great assistance. Always good first responders. The place in Huntingfield would be a great place for an Applebee to be at. That's all I've got.
Councilman Miller.
I don't have much of anything to ask about tonight. I do want to point out to Mr. Cash that we understand your situation, and we hope you understand ours. But Kevin, you weren't involved in the process at the time, so I'd like for that to be clear too. Well, thank you for coming up here tonight. I know it wasn't an easy task, and I appreciate it.
Bruce?
I think, as I heard following the public hearing, I think I heard the consensus would be prepare a resolution to uphold the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation. I don't need a motion, I just need the general consensus. If so, we'll bring that back at the next meeting. I see enough nods that we'll do that. The other thing is, I want to remind council of the work session this Wednesday for budget, starting at 4 p.m.
I can't nod.
I just make this comment, you know, we don't hear a lot of good news, but Bruce in his weekly report had the last summary of the unemployment rate, and for this area, we're at 5.7%. The state is at 6.6, and the federal is at 6.3 now. The unemployment rate don't always accurately measure what's going on, but it's good to be on the low side of those numbers, at least from the standpoint of people having some jobs available to them. So that's a good thing, and hopefully.
I would like to add to that, Your Honor, while you have that. And you're right, the percentage doesn't always reflect the true picture. Because if we look at January of this year versus June of this year, so we're looking at a 6-month period there, the percent stayed the same. But when you look at the total number of employment, we have 447 more people employed in that 6-month period, even though the percent stayed the same, which means we have more people coming here and looking for jobs. And so that does add to the economy. So like you say, the numbers don't say the whole thing. You got to look at the detail behind that.
Okay. Next, we have public comments. Yes, sir.
Was the Applebee's going to have smoking?
Stirring up trouble now. My name's Thomas Fiedler, and I live at 1617 Meadow Lane. And I just had a real quick comment. I wanted to know about the work sessions. I wanted to see if there was a way we could get those put on the YouTube channel as well, because my arm got real tired holding up cameras and phones back there to record everything. And I have a Facebook page where I disseminate that information, and because it's like a page and not just, you know, me and pictures of me, it tells me how many people view what I put out there. And a normal thing I put out there, I get between 50 and 100 people to view it. But I put the city council meetings out there, and those get near 1,000 every time, because people actually do care what's going on in the community. So if we could put those work sessions up there too, I think that would just be great, and it might help a lot of people see more of what's going on and have a better understanding of exactly what it is that's going on in their community. And then one other thing, the Citizens Armory had their Second Amendment rally in between this meeting and the last meeting, and they had 2,500 people show up, which was a little bit more than what they were expecting. Quite frankly, quite a bit more than what I was expecting, and it was fairly well done. You know, it was long and hot, but that's the middle of July in Missouri. So it goes back to I had mentioned about a month and a half or so ago now about looking at the open carry law and seeing if there was something we could do with that. And that I just wanted to bring that up as something that shows that there is a little bit of support and traction behind that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you would, I could comment on both of those if you would like.
Sure.
I'll comment on the open carry issue that you brought forward.
Sure.
We did submit that to council for a question. And the issue, quite frankly, is that there is an amendment on the August ballot that could change that, our issue.
Amendment 5, is that the?
You're right. And
Okay.
so therefore, we've decided to take no action on it until we see where that goes, because that could change the issue or interpretation of our current ordinance.
Awesome. I actually meant to
Okay.
bring that up and didn't
So-
bring notes with me.
So at this point, it seems foolish to take any action on something that could be changed by state law.
Absolutely.
So that's gonna, so we're waiting and see what happens, okay?
Okay.
Secondly, as far as the recordings go, we do record the council meetings because there is action items. Work sessions is not action items, that's why we don't. And when you do record those, that we do have an issue about how long we have to keep those issues. What is it, I think it's 10 years?
Yes.
And so it does take up a lot of server space and everything else for us to do those, and that's why we've chosen not to do those, is because of the records keeping issues that go with that. Once you do it, you have to do that, and you have to keep them, and it becomes an issue for us as far as that goes. So that's the reason we only do the council ones, because that's where the action items are.
Thank you very much.
Makes sense.
Thank you. Other public comments? Seeing none, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Lush,
Yes.
Yes.